So this is a quick overnight adventure that wasn't supposed to happen. So basically I went out in my gear shed and I gathered all my gear. By the time it was all together and my list was all checked off and it was ready to go in the pack, I was exhausted. I went to work last night, and when I came home this morning I was exhausted from a pretty stressful night at work. I just kind of looked at everything on my bedroom floor and said, this isn't happening. And then something funny happened, and there was a package on my doorstep. And it was to me, but I didn't order it. And it was from my friend Joe, all the way up in Boise. I opened the box, and inside was a new cook pot, titanium cook pot. And I got so excited over it, I texted Joe, I thanked him profusely, and then I just kept thinking about that new cook pot. Anyway, the next thing I knew, I was out the door and on the road, headed up Ogden Canyon to our familiar stomping grounds, the Maples Abandoned Campground. I have set up camp. I brought my usual hammock, but I brought a different tarp this time. So this came together nicely, and right now I'm hungry. I'm really hungry, and guess what? I have no idea what time it is because I forgot one thing. I always forget one thing, and it's usually a big deal. But that one thing I forgot isn't really that far away. It's my cell phone. It's back in my car. Got halfway down the trail and it was the golden hour, as they call it, and it was beautiful, and I was like, I gotta take pictures of this. And I reached in my pockets and there was no cell phone. I really don't want to hike back to the car just for my cell phone. The only part that makes me nervous is my kids are at their mom's, and I told them I wouldn't be out of cell phone range. So my phone's sitting in my car, hopefully not blowing up with important texts. Let's take a look around camp. I'll give you the tour, and then we'll tear into making dinner. Well, this is an abandoned campground, and I've camped here many times through those trees. I don't know if you can see that orange right in there. That is a tent. So there are people over there, and they've got a fire going, but they're being very quiet. It looks to be a family. So this is the cook pot that Joe gave me. This is it's called a fire gas stove. I can't remember. I haven't used it in years. In fact, the last time I used it was here. We're not going to cook on this. We're actually going to just use it as like our fire pit. Just a comforting little fire to have. This is my electronics bag. All the stuff that makes it possible for you to see this video. I brought the citronella candle again. I got my little cup. I borrowed my son's MSR pocket rocket. I've got a bag of water here. This is my bear hang. This is some blue paracord I found at the dollar store. A fire kit, first aid kit, and hygiene kit. Here's our food bag. I have my usual Osprey pack. We have my puffer coat, puffy coat, depending on your preference, I guess. This is our hammock, our usual setup, except this time I have an Outdoor Vitals quilt and just a inflatable pillow under quilt. This is the tarp I was talking about. This tarp actually came with this custom hammock that my son had made. This is mac and cheese with hot dogs, I think, that my buddy Kent freeze-dried. Breakfast, oatmeal, bunch of snacks. I am not going to eat all of this. It's just I kind of grabbed whatever I could last minute, and I did bring bear spray. I like having it for, you know, I might have to use it on a person for all I know. And this pot does not weigh much at all. I'll go home and weigh this and throw up on the screen exactly how much it weighs. It's got the markings, milliliters and ounces on the side. This is so dull. And my kids and I both have been using it and using it. Looks like the tip of it is pretty flat too. This thing has been well used over the years. There's the close-up version of Uncle Kent's amazing and delicious mac and cheese with hot dogs. Maybe just like cereal, kind of pour it till it floats. Let it kind of soak up the water there. Easy peasy. Foamy, frothy, delightful. Want some? The mac and cheese was awesome. I'm gonna have my dessert and some hot chocolate and some diabetes. Want some? And God bless Joe, this cookbook inspired me to get off the couch, get outside in nature, and have an adventure. Well, next I think what we're gonna do, we're gonna put this stove together if I can remember how. One thing that I really like about this stove is there's something very meditative about breaking the twigs and just feeding it as it dies down and just keeping it going. But there's comfort in the simple. I sure am glad I didn't stay home. Well, the sun went down before I could get the bear hang up, so we're gonna try to hang it here in the dark. Well, it's not a perfect hang. It's only about 12 feet off the ground. I think it'll do. I really wish I'd brought my phone so I knew my kids were okay, but I have a feeling I'm in for a night hike. Want to come with? It isn't about my cell phone, it's about peace of mind, knowing my kids are okay. Good thing I know this area really well. When are you gonna learn, Steve? Shows you how much I unconsciously don't want to carry my cell phone around with me. There used to be a beaver dam in here, a really active beaver, but I don't see it anymore. We made it. All for a cell phone. Oh no, I forgot my keys at camp. No, I'm just kidding. I got them right here. I have a text. It's just from Joe. No offense, just from Joe, but it's from Joe, not my kids. Everything seems cool. Back to camp. Forgot. I locked my car. Little mousy. He doesn't know where to go. Almost there. Alright. Whew. That sucked. But it was worth it. How many times in my life have I had to say that? I'm down to my last few sticks. Let's just load those in and let it be for the night. I am nestled into bed. It is 11:44 p.m. So, good night. Sleep tight. Don't let the werewolves bite. Oh, good morning, guys. 7:36 in the morning. How are you, neighbor? What are you going to do today? Mr. Rogers, wilderness. Well, let's have a look around. Let me get my shoes on and we'll walk around a little bit. There's the meadow. Believe it or not, this is the old road right here. It's all overgrown. Nature's reclaimed it. There's a campsite right over here. This is nice and cleaned up. I've had my hammock right here before. I've even put my tent right here. Anyway, let's go back to camp. Get that breakfast going. Nothing like doing dishes in the mountains. Camp towel, a little bit of water, clean enough. This morning's breakfast is brought to you by maple and brown sugar instant oatmeal. Chocolate Supreme Cocoa again. So let's talk about how I slept while we're waiting for our water. I slept really well after about 1:30 in the morning. The quilt did not fit me very well. Some more water for the oatmeal. Want some? I have to say that this trip cost me almost nothing except gas to get up here. I had all the gear, I had all this food in my house. Get off my water bag. That's what she said. That makes no sense. I think our hike out will be part of the exploration of the area. Yeah, we'll just make our way back to the car after I clean this disaster up. Well guys, that is it. Table is clear. Our little fire area is clear. Our hammock area is completely clear. Everything's on my back. Let's do some exploring and head out of here. And I'll show you a different trail that leads back to the car. In the springtime, this meadow is incredibly green. That's where we're coming from. That's where we're going. So we're gonna go down here. This is the road less traveled. I've caught fish in here before. So from here we have to backtrack to get to the trail that leads back to the car. This little guy right here will lead us back to the car, into those beautiful trees. This usually has a bunch of water running in it. I'm really surprised that it's so dry. Isn't this better than that heavily trafficked road? Not too much further, we'll be back at the car. Time to go back to people in their ways. Starting to see shiny cars. Yeah, the parking lot's right there. I think that's the end of this journey. I'm gonna head back to the car. I'm gonna go home. I have some store-bought refrigerated sushi waiting for me.